Housing update report. So Bruce is here.
And while I'm here, more importantly, Lisa is here.
Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
Lisa is our community housing team. So you'll be aware from the report and our previous discussions that we've made a change this year where we've transferred further responsibilities to OCHT, which has resulted in some changes to staffing, and Lisa is now the responsible person for the housing here. So I'm going to hand over to her to introduce the report.
Thanks, Bruce. I feel like I've been thrown in the deep end, but that's all right. I'd just like to start off, by acknowledging the length of time between reports, and I get because it is meant to be a quarterly report and it has taken a wee while, but as Bruce has said, that sort of has been impacted by the changes that have happened within the housing team, the staffing changes, and then of course COVID-19. Up until the 30th of June, Council were still managing the major work programs as per the report. Couple of highlights in there that were run by Council was significant exterior works at Harmon Courts. This included exterior painting, re-roofing, window upgrades as required. In residence lounge and communal laundries were all upgraded internally. So a lot of work was going on there. Replaced the water main. And then we've also fully upgraded 16 bathrooms at Biddick Courts and amongst that whole complex. So that was, finishing off, I guess, the council's work with some major work going on there. From the 1st of July, we have handed that responsibility out now over, transferred that to OCHT. I personally think the changeover was reasonably streamlined, and it went well with no significant impacts to the tenants, which was really pleasing to see. We're working really closely with OCHT in that initial transfer phase, ensuring that programs have transitioned, that they have run smoothly. They had things like tree maintenance, exterior painting, line marking, all up and running pretty quickly within that changeover process. So it was good. Other work currently in the pipeline with OCHT is some major interior upgrades at Waikola Courts. It's 30 units there with some remodelling, and also looking at conversions with some of our studio units within the portfolio and upgrading those to one bedroom units so it makes better fit for space for the residents. Council now has a role really as a passive landlord, overseeing rather than undertaking the maintenance. However, I do want to assure everybody that we still do have oversight of what is going on with those programs. We look at what's been planned, what's been undertaken. We're monitoring performance as required. Any asset data is jointly reviewed between council and the trust, so that we're making sure that we're looking at our lower ranked complexes first. So there is a lot of work going on in that space jointly between the two parties. I would just like to bring an example of how that works to the table, because I know I've had a couple of things cross my desk lately as to that process, and particularly with regard to tree maintenance, which has come up. We do have oversight on that. We have a program that is our first priority is to prune the trees. We will only remove a tree really if it's in decline, if it's affecting tenants' health and well-being, if it's damaging the asset or interfering with the service. If we do remove it, we are looking to replace with some kind of species that is better suited to the area to provide benefits to the tenants. And we will not remove anything that is a food source. So they will stay unless they are in definite decline. But once again, we will look at replace. All this work that we do in this space is done with an arborist, so it's not just decisions that we're making ad hoc on ourselves. So just rest assured that we are looking at that. I guess just to finish the highlights on that is that we are recommending that we change the frequency of this report due to the changes that have happened, I guess, with council having the more overseeing role and the trust taking that role on. So we are recommending that we change this to 6 monthly, and any other a lot of the other matters that are currently included in this report are reported elsewhere, and we are keeping council up to date with those. Bruce, I'll pass over to you.
Yeah, so I'll just add, given the comments earlier around vaccination, so OCHT has actively worked in that space of trying to encourage their tenants to be vaccinated, but certainly it's not a mandate or requirement that those tenants be vaccinated. And they've worked closely with the health board on that matter. So you can provide that reassurance. They've also done a lot of welfare checks through lockdown periods and making sure that their tenants' well-being is looked after. So on that point, we'll probably pause and open up for questions subject to the chair.
That's great, thanks. Pauline?
Oh, thank you very much for a good report. Just a question around the trees. So the trust leases the land. Does the trust need to either advise or ask council before removing a tree, or does that just come under your maintenance?
So once they do come to it, they provide us with a tender or scope of work as to what they're doing, and once again they do, if it does need to be removed, they generally come back to us with an arborist report as to why it needs to be removed. So we are getting that advice. Yes.
Yeah,
So
there was a recent one where they removed after seeing it on the day. Without coming back to us. We've raised that and are looking to change the procedures to make sure, even in those circumstances, come back to us so that we're aware of the reasons and are involved in that decision making.
Right. Was that the Perth Street one you're talking about?
Yeah, so that was one that was fairly significantly misshapen tree in a very small area between the footpath and a garage that's been removed, and we'll ensure there's replacement done.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That clarifies that.
Any further questions? No? That's great. Nice easy one for you first. Thanks, Lisa.
Isn't it?
So do I have a mover for that? Tim, seconder. Andrew? All those in favour? Any against? Okay, thank you very much. It's 11 o'clock, and so